Today on Rock the Park, we're expanding our horizons.
For miles upon miles, just pure beauty.
Exploring a landscape as magical as it is challenging.
I'm so excited.
This is why you travel right here.
Where nature and spirituality go hand in hand.
We all are trying to answer the same questions. Who am I? Why am I here? And where am I going?
Inspiring journeys that compel you to look inward.
All my peripheral vision just kind of melted away.
This is Seoraksan National Park in South Korea, and it all starts right now. I'm Jack Stewart.
This is the real deal.
And I'm Colton Smith.
These are mountains!
We've been buddies for years, always in search of the next adventure.
Dude, what was that?
We share a passion for our national parks and other wild places around the world.
Oh my God.
Heading off the beaten path, pushing our limits, and experiencing nature's best-kept secrets.
Here we go!
It's how we rock the park.
Curiosity and adventure can lead to amazing places and discoveries. Today, we're in a national park halfway around the world.
We are in South Korea for the first time ever.
There are mountains everywhere. The Korean people really have a special connection to nature, but also their spirituality, and you can see it in the national parks here.
South Korea is located in East Asia, on the southern half of the Korean peninsula. There are 22 national parks here, and our journey begins in one of the most iconic. Seoraksan National Park is a habitat for rare plants and animals. It's covered with mountains and streams, as well as 13 temples that are an important part of the experience here.
We've got a big adventure ahead of us. We're gonna go backpacking for a couple days. But first, today we're gonna walk around the temple grounds, and we're actually going to be meeting with a monk who's gonna teach us how to meditate and give us some info about Korean Buddhism.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, this is a pinch me moment. Like, this is why you travel right here.
Nature is an integral facet of Korean culture. Hiking is a national pastime here, especially on the weekends. Mountains form natural barriers. According to Korean folklore, indigenous spirits were believed to inhabit mountains. Those spirits were incorporated into Buddhism.
So behind us is the great Unification Buddha. This thing stands about 48 feet tall, weighs over 100 tons. I mean, that is massive.
In the 1950s, a civil war between North and South Korea resulted in the creation of two separate countries. 40 years later, this monument was built to inspire the two countries to become one again.
There has been some great signs of hope, and for the first time in almost 60 years, South and North Korea have begun to speak once again. And so everyone is incredibly optimistic that one day this country will be reunited.
Further into the park, there's another feature Americans aren't accustomed to seeing in a national park. Many Korean parks contain Buddhist temples and other ancient Buddhist sites.
So we think of our national parks as places that preserve history, almost like a museum. Well, these national parks here, they are alive. I mean, these temples are being used today. Monks are walking the grounds, and people come here to pay their respects, really connect with their own sense of spirituality. Humility is absolutely revered in Buddhism, so you will see places like this, buildings, walkways that are designed for you to bow your head. The ceiling is so low that you have to do it, and it's forcing that posture of humility on you.
Originally built in the 7th century, the Sheng temple is one of the oldest Zen temples in the world. Monks here practice a uniquely Korean form of Buddhism, using meditation as a tool for overcoming suffering and achieving inner peace.
I think what's so amazing about humanity is that we all are trying to answer the same questions. Who am I? Why am I here? And where am I going? The idea of meditation, of calming yourself down, finding a sense of peace, it's something that I definitely relate to.
Temples like this provide quiet places for monks and their students. We're meeting So Lim, a monk who spent the past decade exploring and studying here.
Hi.
안녕하세요. 신흥사 템플스에 오신 걸 환영합니다.
Welcome to the Shinengsa Temple.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
We're so glad to be here.
Our translator Chongmin Bak has been studying Buddhist teaching at Shinhongsa for years. She's providing us with Sujin Bo, the customary temple clothes, and our lesson about Buddhist meditation rituals begins over a traditional tea ceremony.
While we're getting to know each other, So Lim surprises us by opening up about his past struggles with depression.
You just wonder what should I do and why do I suffer?
So Lim admits it was so unbearable, he almost lost all hope.
That's why you became a monk. Buddhism is something that literally saved your life, and you have that desire to help others who are suffering in similar ways. Is there a chance that we might be able to meditate today?
네.
Okay, where to start?
Yeah.
So Lim instructs us to relax our bodies, breathe deep, and allow ourselves to be in the moment.
Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in again. What was I before I was born? What am I? How was you feeling?
For me, I was thinking about who am I? What was I? What is that feeling of the wind across my face? What is that sound I hear, the birds and the trees rustling?
Basically, by just focusing in and focusing on my breathing, all my peripheral vision just kind of melted away, and I just kind of focused on what was right in front of me.
This heightened awareness is key to enjoying all that nature and life have to offer, and it will help us tackle the journey that lies ahead.
I'm not exactly sure how far we've climbed up to this point, but man, where we began is way out of sight, and it seems like all roads just lead straight up.
We're in South Korea's Seoraksan National Park, about to head out on a 2-day backpacking journey to experience something Koreans call Sheng. It's a sense of community, compassion, and sharing our experiences with others.
Today is going to be epic. We are going to see some incredible things. The first is going to be Dinosaur Ridge, which is supposed to be one of the most iconic views here in the park.
Who knows what 3,000 plus feet up there is gonna look like.
Today's just going to be about checking out the natural beauty, hopefully experiencing some of that Sheng, that attachment to this area and connection with the other hikers out there. 8 miles, about 3,200 feet of elevation. It's quite a day ahead of us.
Our trail leads us past the Great Unification Buddha and into the Bisondae Valley, a gentle ascent leading us past rivers and the warm welcomes of other hikers sharing the trail.
You too!
It's so cool to see all the other hikers out here that are headed up into the mountains just like we are. It's those connections that really show you that the world is a lot smaller than we make it out to be.
Some of the steeper parts of the trail have built-in stairs and steps which blend in with the surroundings.
It definitely makes hiking a little bit easier. And also, I think it allows us to go into some terrain that might be too hard to cross for the average hiker. I mean, look at that bridge behind me. That is gorgeous.
We move past the river and begin our 3,000-foot ascent to a place called Dinosaur Ridge. Meanwhile, we're surrounded by groves of birch and oak trees, similar to mountain habitats in the US, and it's fall, which makes them even more spectacular to look at.
This is why we came to Seoraksan at this time of year. Look at the colors that we have on the leaves here. Absolutely stunning.
I'm not exactly sure how far we've climbed up to this point, but man, where we began is way out of sight, and it seems like all roads just lead straight up.
And up, over more bridges and steps to an overlook.
Beautiful. We made it to the overlook of Dinosaur Ridge.
Now, it's very obvious why it's called Dinosaur Ridge. It looks like a giant stegosaurus back. Boom, 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 rugged mountaintops next to each other all the way down to the valley floor.
From here, you can see Korea's East Sea, which sits between Korea and Japan. This is a popular spot for hikers to stop for lunch. Our lunch is kimbap, a rice and seaweed roll popular with local hikers. It's not uncommon to make new friends and share some food along the trail.
I see we got some carrots in there, some seaweed, some rice. It's really good.
Before we know it, we're experiencing Chong, that sense of communal harmony So Lim taught us about yesterday. Dozens of people are sharing their food with us, smiling, laughing, and making us all feel welcome.
What is this?
Fried egg.
Fried egg?
Yeah,
Ooh.
not boiled. Fried.
Fried?
Yeah.
Oh, yum.
Pumpkin candy.
It's a little sticky, but it's delicious.
Look at all this food up there.
Healthy
Yes,
food, yeah.
very healthy.
Yeah.
Perfect for a long hike like this.
Yeah.
This is how you have a meal.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This is what it's all about. We sat down to have a meal together. Before you know it, we're friends, we're chatting. I'm trying all this amazing food. This is awesome.
After a great hour of sharing and making new friends, we're back on the trail, feeling rested, full, and happy.
It's always amazing to me that even in another country where you don't speak the same language, you can make friends so easily.
All of these people knew that we were not from around here. We didn't speak the same language. They came with open arms. They were throwing all different sorts of candies and nuts and drinks, just welcoming us into this incredible Korean hiking culture.
We have about 3 miles to go before we reach our shelter.
Hey! Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So we need 2 bunks,
Yeah,
2 of us, and then 2 blankets.
good blanket.
All right. Great.
Thank you.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Since other hikers are already asleep, we're keeping our voices down as we settle in for the night.
So this is a shelter. We've got these 2 little slips where we're gonna sleep tonight, and there's gonna be a bunch of other people next to us.
This is really part of the Korean hiking culture. You can find these shelters anywhere that you've got massive mountains and amazing hikes.
We've got another really big hike waiting for us tomorrow, so it's gonna be imperative that we get some sleep tonight.
Tomorrow, we'll tackle the highest point in the park
All right, ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
and experience some magic along the way.
Something that you would picture in some sort of a fairy tale.
We're waking up after spending the night in a hiker's shelter deep in South Korea's Seoraksan National Park.
It was kind of crazy to be in a room with like 16 other people all sleeping. Good morning.
Morning. How'd you sleep?
I slept great. How about you?
I slept. I counted, I think, about 10 other snores in the room last night, but
It was like a symphony of snoring.
nevertheless, it was nice and toasty. And, I feel refreshed.
And that's a good thing. We've got 5 miles and 3,000 vertical feet to reach Daechongbong Peak, the highest point in the park and the 3rd highest peak in South Korea.
A long, unforgiving hike like this would normally feel daunting, yet we can't help but get lost in the otherworldly beauty of our surroundings.
This place is so magical. I mean, look at this. We are hiking along this little babbling brook. The colors of the leaves are incredibly vibrant, and we're walking this like stone pathway. It's something that you would picture in some sort of a fairy tale.
Adding to that magic are the smiles of everyone we meet along the path.
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요.
I have been so absolutely taken back by this national park. The trees and the colors, it's absolutely gorgeous. And the only thing, and I mean it, the only thing that rivals this natural beauty is the people that we've encountered out here on this trail. I mean, you're greeted with a smile. Nobody seems like they're tired, they're full of life, and they're ready to share that with us. And that is something that just makes you so grateful. It's so hard not to be.
It's not hard to see why there are temples in these mountains. This place just absolutely connects you to the divine, to the infinite.
Reaching those temples means leaving the river behind and making the steep ascent further into the mountains.
Another thing that makes coming to South Korea very special for me is my grandfather fought in the Korean War and fought in mountains just like these. It's amazing. It's one example, but there's so many more of how even in a land that seems so incredibly foreign and different and new, there's still a connection.
60 years ago, these mountain passes served as battlegrounds for the North and South. Today, they're oases of beauty and calm, home to iconic wildlife like the Asian black bear.
And these Asian black bears have a white marking right on their chest that separates them from the black bears that we have in the United States.
Ranging from 4 to 6 feet in length, these bears can weigh up to 400 pounds. Despite their size, they spend much of their life in trees, feeding on insects, berries, and nuts.
In the upper reaches of the forest, the trail continues to get steeper and the views continue to blow us away.
We are on the outskirts of the Bongjong Hermitage and Temple. Now, out of respect, we're not gonna bring our cameras down there. So this is the view that we're gonna get today.
It's absolutely fascinating. We've been going up and up and up. And then when you come to a viewpoint like this and you overlook these massive, beautiful temples, it's just astounding.
Originally built in the 7th century, Bongjong Almanid's secluded mountain temple provide refuge to weary travelers and Buddhist students seeking quiet and solitude for their meditation.
One of the things that I really love about Buddhism is their openness to all different types of traditions and faiths. And honestly, my personal opinion is that places like this and nature itself is a holy space. So I'm gonna take a moment to just reflect and give thanks for this beautiful place that we get to enjoy.
What my grandfather experienced was nothing like what we're experiencing here today. And that just shows if you have faith, good things can come. And the strongest evidence of that is that today, Jack and I are able to hike through here. That right there is a powerful thing.
We can just about see where we're going. That peak up there, it's about 600 meters from the summit of Daechongbong.
Yeah, we still have a lot of miles to make and a lot of elevation to climb. So hopefully this view of peace is going to stay with us until we get to the top.
There's still quite a few steps separating us from the park's highest peak.
Legs are burning.
We are so high up right now.
We're on day 2 of our backpacking trip through Seoraksan National Park in South Korea.
We are just climbing up these rocks, weaving our way through the trees, and eventually here we're gonna reach the ridge and get to the top of Daechongbong, the tallest mountain in this park.
Daechongbong tops out at 5,603 feet. This hike is steep with very few switchbacks to ease our climb.
It's just getting prettier and prettier, and this final stretch is where you feel this elevation gain that we've endured over the last couple days really come right at you. The legs are burning. At this point, I expect nothing less.
After another mile or so of climbing,
This is it.
Yeah!
Yeah!
We made it!
Woo! Summit!
Wow, look at that.
We are so high up right now. This is unbelievable. We are surrounded by these mountains. You can see how far we have come. And man, oh man, was that journey worth this.
from the granite peaks of Dinosaur Ridge to the shimmering East Sea to the sight of North Korea in the distance, this view perfectly encapsulates the experiences we've had here.
I was expecting to see beautiful scenery, tall mountains, but I wasn't expecting to have such a spiritual experience, to be able to connect with other people and really walk in their shoes for a couple of days.
Every single step of the way, we were greeted with a hello and a warm smile. If we open our eyes and we put out our hand and we are open to others, the amount of things that we can learn to better ourselves, to better our societies, are quite literally as endless as the amount of adventure in this world.
The concept of Sheng really inspired me, that sense of love, compassion, unity, and openness. With the monk, with the people that we got to eat with the fellow hikers that we passed by on the trail, and even with each other, to be able to come to a place that is foreign like this and leave with such an impactful experience, one that changed our lives, that's Sheng. That's that connection.
There's a lot of things that make us different. There's so much more that makes us the same. And the love for places like this is one of them. How can that not be a universal thing? How can you not stand in awe of beauty?
It's what happens when you open your mind to the endless opportunities our planet has to offer. And remember,
Hey, if we can do it,
So can you.
So the next chance you get, go out and rock the park.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave any questions or comments that you have.
And please subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more to come.